Hey guys, today I wanted to come in with another good anime recommendation. It's not trash like last time because I feel like this anime is actually good, like not like hey, it's trash, but it's my trash kind of good. So yeah, anyways, but it is still on the 10th row of anime list, so it's like the 30th most members, which is quite down on the list, and it's called Though I Am an Inept Villainess. Yeah, I watched this today and I thought it was really good, so I wanted to make a video about it and also explain the scene that got me and caught my eye. So, yeah, just to give some context, this is very similar to Apothecary Diaries in that there is basically a king and he has a bunch of mistresses, and in this case, there is a good mistress who is nice and loved by everyone. And then there is the bad mistress who basically is not nice and also known to be less pretty and is also someone that everyone doesn't like. So, because the bad mistress is very jealous, so then she basically pushes the good mistress or the good girl off of a building, but then miraculously, the good girl actually ends up surviving. Obviously, the bad girl is thrown in jail for her crimes. When the bad girl wakes up and the voice actress is different, I assumed this was going to be like an isekai, like a reincarnation type of anime, but it's actually the good girl who's actually inside the body of the bad girl. So it's actually a body swap. Basically, the bad girl used a spell to swap bodies with the good girl and also put a spell on the good girl so that she's not able to tell anyone or notify anyone that this has happened. And there's this funny scene where basically the bad girl shows up and she's here to gloat and explain what she has done, but then she starts coughing violently because actually the good girl, she has an extremely frail body, and because she fell into the water because of the whole pushing down thing from the building, so then now it's actually the bad girl who's having a cough and is really sick because her body is just super weak. And it's really funny because the good girl is supposed to be kind of upset because it seems like her body is being taken and all this, but instead she starts recommending like different cough medicines that she knows, which kind of shows like she's just that kind of person. She just cares about other people even when it's clearly not mutual, even if the person is actively trying to take advantage of her. Eventually, the bad girl has to leave because she's coughing so hard because she's so sick. And then after that, the good girl realizes, oh, I actually am not sick. I actually don't have any fever or anything. And then she realizes, wow, like actually, like the bad girl, like her body is like just at peak health, you know? So she starts to say, oh my gosh, swapping is so wonderful, which I think is a wild thing to say considering the situation that the other person is trying to actively harm you or trying to take your life. And she's just like, wow, I've never felt this healthy before. Like, this is amazing. And also, while she's in prison, she's just like Cinderella, I guess, because there's a bunch of rats and, you know, like the bad girl, she's like, oh, like, you know, cower in fear because you're going to die with the, you know, like with the rats all around you and all this stuff. And instead, she actually starts capturing cockroaches for the rats so that she can feed them like food. And I guess it's because she was really, really sick, or I guess, you know, her body's still sick. But the rats, with through the experimentations of all the medicines that they worked on the rats, that actually helped her quite a lot in maintaining to make sure that her body doesn't deteriorate even further and get worse and worse. So in a sense, she feels like indebted to the rats, and also she likes them just generally like as animals. So then she just captures a bunch of cockroaches and is trying to beat the rats. Now to the scene that actually made me want to make this video and was the one that was like, wow, this is actually like, yeah, I'm gonna watch this. Which is basically after she was imprisoned, she is going to go for a trial by a lion, which is super old, super, very, very traditional back in the day, I guess, which basically is they just stuff you in a cage with a hungry lion that hasn't been fed. And then if you get eaten, then I guess you were guilty. And then if you don't get eaten, then I guess you weren't guilty. So she's locked into this cage with the lion, but the whole time she's super chill. She's just like so chill. And she's so chill that the head guard, the person who's like next to the cage, is like, are you not afraid of death? Like, what's going on? And she responds that she is used to it, which kind of ties back to previously of her frail body, which basically was constantly deteriorating and was weak and always like on the verge of death. So death was always a probability basically at all points of her life. So she kind of lived staring at death in the face. So even here in this situation with the lion, she's just like, like this is like not that different. And she says a quote that I really, really like. She says, "Until I die, I am still alive. And likewise, until I am bitten, I have not been bitten. And my will won't last if I'm wincing in pain, even before I'm bitten," right? Which hit me really hard. I feel like way more than probably even the author intended, which is so true because I feel like people often experience like two different bites or pains, which is they experience the bite of the actual bite itself, the thing that physically harms them or something like this. Then there's also the bite of anxiety and anticipation of the bite itself, of the actual experience before it happens. And oftentimes, the latter is actually more painful and longer and more magnified than the former. For example, this is kind of random, but there's this Greek Stoic philosopher named Seneca, and basically he was one of the richest person in the entire empire that he kind of resided in, and he worked as like an advisor and he would help kings and so on. And like many people who have even the tiniest bit of wealth, and he had a lot, he also had this fear of, like what if a business goes wrong and I lose everything, right? He would have this fear. So to minimize the influence of this fear, every month for a few days, Seneca would basically eat the cheapest, food, like the lowest quality, the things that only the poor people can buy, and wear the roughest clothes and sleep on the floor. And have this, for maybe like a few days to maybe a week. And then all the while he would ask himself, is this the condition that I so feared? And oftentimes he would come to the answer, no, yeah, this is obviously not as good as what I have. But at the same time, if I do lose everything, if I do have to wear rough clothes and I'm just going to have to do this, it's not that bad. And he kind of makes himself realize that, so that the fear that controls him of what happens if I lose all my money or what happens if something bad happens to me, he doesn't let that fear control him. Of course, this is not to say, you should just do whatever you want and, it doesn't matter what happens in the future. Of course, we should plan for the future and manage risk, but I think it's just as important, if not more, to also see to it that we're not letting the fear of the future, a fear of losing, control us and influence our decisions, in a way where, like the lion hasn't bitten us until it has, right? So then, why are we in agony before the lion even bites us, you know? Anyways, back to the anime. So, yeah, the lion does attack eventually, but is incapacitated in a way that I won't get into, just so that people who want to watch this episode, they can go ahead and watch it. But after being released, it's like she references stoicism directly when she hypes herself up and she's like, I can only do what I can do, so I just got to try my best. And then she tries to save the lion that almost ate her, which I thought was like, oh my god, like, are we serious? Are we trying to save the lion right now? The redonkulousness aside, I thought it was a good anime, and so I will be following up on this. And yeah, I would recommend it if people, after hearing this, you feel interested. I've only covered the first episode, and I missed a lot. I skipped over a lot of details, so I think it's still worth the watch. And yeah, subscribe and like if you enjoyed the content, and hopefully I will see you in the next video.